81%. That's how often one specific chart pattern correctly predicts a price drop, according to a study of over 2,800 trades. But here's what nobody tells you. The same research shows only about half of those trades ever reach their full profit target. In the next 15 minutes, I'm going to show you the 5 chart patterns professional traders actually watch, and the honest statistics behind each one, including the numbers pattern trading gurus conveniently leave out. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, this is where we break down trading and investing concepts using real numbers and real research. No hype, no get-rich-quick nonsense. Today kicks off our new series on technical analysis and chart reading, and we're starting with the foundation, chart patterns. By the end of this video, you'll be able to recognize the 5 patterns that show up over and over on price charts. Head and shoulders, double tops and bottoms, triangles, flags, and the cup and handle. But more importantly, you'll understand 3 things most beginner videos skip. First, why these patterns form in the first place, because it's not magic, it's psychology. Second, the actual success rates from the largest pattern study ever published, covering tens of thousands of historical trades. And third, the 3 mistakes that cause beginners to lose money on patterns that were technically correct. We'll also check back in with Marcus. You'll remember him from our risk management series, because he's about to trade his first chart pattern, and his trade is the perfect walkthrough of how this works in the real world, dollar by dollar. Let's get into it. Before we look at a single pattern, you need to understand one core idea. A chart pattern is not a shape that predicts the future. It's a picture of a battle between buyers and sellers, and the pattern tells you who's winning. Every pattern on this list is really just a visual record of crowd psychology. Fear, greed, hesitation, capitulation. Because human emotions don't change, the same shapes keep appearing on charts decade after decade. That's the entire premise of pattern trading. Now, how do we know these patterns actually mean anything? The most comprehensive research comes from Thomas Bulkowski, a trader and author who analyzed tens of thousands of historical pattern occurrences in the stock market and published the results. His numbers are the closest thing pattern trading has to a report card, and I'll cite them throughout this video. One honest caveat up front. In his research, a pattern works if price moves at least 5% in the predicted direction after the breakout. That's a fairly low bar, and I'll come back to why that matters. Academic researchers, by the way, are more skeptical. One well-known study found pattern-based strategies added maybe 5 to 7% per year in excess returns, useful but far from a money printer. Keep both perspectives in your head. All right? Pattern number 1, the head and shoulders. Picture 3 peaks in a row. The middle peak, the head, is the tallest. The 2 outer peaks, the shoulders, are lower and roughly similar in height. Connect the lows between those peaks, and you get a line called the neckline. Here's the psychology. In an uptrend, buyers push price to a new high, that's the left shoulder. Price dips, then buyers push even higher, that's the head. But on the third attempt, buyers fail to make a new high. That lower third peak, the right shoulder, is the tell. Buying pressure is exhausted. When price then breaks below the neckline, the reversal is confirmed. The statistics. In Bulkowski's updated research on more than 800 head and shoulders trades, roughly 81% kept falling at least 5% after breaking the neckline. That's the number from the hook. But, and this is the number that matters just as much, only about 51% reached the full projected price target. Remember that gap. We'll use it later. Flip the whole thing upside down, and you get the inverse head and shoulders, which signals a bottom instead of a top. Same logic, opposite direction. Pattern number 2, the double top and double bottom. The double top looks like the letter M. Price hits a high, pulls back, rallies to test that same high, and fails again. 2 failed attempts at the same level tell you sellers are defending that price. When price breaks below the middle of the M, the pattern confirms. The double bottom is the mirror image. The letter W price hits a low, bounces, comes back down to nearly the same low and holds. Buyers defended that floor twice. When price breaks above the middle peak of the W, that's your confirmation. For a valid double top or bottom, the two peaks or two troughs should sit within roughly 3 to 5% of each other. And in Bulkowski's bull market data, confirmed double bottoms were among the best performers of all. Around 88% moved higher after the breakout. That's part of why this is often the first pattern beginners are taught. Pattern number 3. Triangles. An ascending triangle forms when price keeps hitting the same ceiling, flat resistance on top, while the lows keep rising underneath. Buyers are getting more aggressive with each dip, coiling price into a tighter and tighter range against that ceiling. Statistically, ascending triangles break out upward more often than not, but Bulkowski's data shows they break downward roughly 37% of the time, more than 1 in 3. So the shape alone is not a guarantee of direction. You wait for the actual breakout. The descending triangle is the mirror. Flat floor on the bottom, lower highs pressing down from above. Sellers getting more aggressive. It leans bearish, but again, you trade the breakout, not the prediction. Pattern number 4. The flag. A flag is a continuation pattern, meaning it signals a pause in a trend rather than a reversal. Picture a sharp, near vertical price move. That's the flagpole, followed by a small, tight, downward sloping channel of a few days to a few weeks. That's the flag. Volume typically dries up during the flag. Then price breaks out of the channel in the direction of the original move. Volume returns, and the trend resumes. Flags after strong moves rank among the better performing continuation patterns in Bulkowski's research. Their cousin, the pennant, same idea but with converging trend lines, is actually one of the worst performers he measured, so don't treat them as interchangeable. And pattern number 5. The cup and handle. Imagine the cross-section of a teacup. Price forms a long, rounded bottom over weeks or months. That's the cup, recovers to near its old high, then dips slightly one more time in a small pullback. That's the handle. When price breaks above the rim of the cup, the pattern completes. In Bulkowski's bull market rankings, cup and handle breakouts sit near the top of the performance list. The rounded shape matters. It shows sellers gradually giving up rather than panicking, which tends to produce more durable moves. Those are the 5. Head and shoulders, doubles, triangles, flags, cup and handle. Now let's watch one of them play out with real money on the line. Let's bring back Marcus. If you've watched our risk management series, you know Marcus trades a $10,000 account and follows the 1% rule. He never risks more than $100 on a single trade. Those rules are about to matter. Marcus has been watching a stock that's fallen from $58 down to $40, a 31% decline over 4 months. In early spring, the selling stalls. Price bottoms at exactly $40, bounces to $45, then rolls over and drops again. Here's where an untrained trader panics and an educated one pays attention. The second decline stops at $40.40, just 1% above the first bottom. Buyers defended the same floor twice. Marcus is now looking at a potential double bottom. The letter W with the two lows at 40 and 40.40, and the middle peak, the neckline, at 45. But Marcus does not buy yet. A potential pattern is not a pattern. The double bottom only confirms when price closes above the neckline at $45. So he sets an alert and waits. This is the discipline part. The pattern is only half formed, and buying early means buying inside a downtrend. 2 weeks later, the stock closes at $45.50 on rising volume. Confirmed breakout. Now Marcus runs his numbers, and this is the exact sequence I want you to memorize. Step 1. The profit target. Measure the pattern's height, neckline minus the bottom. 45 minus 40 is $5. Project that height above the neckline. 45 plus 5 gives a measured target of $50. Step 2. The stop loss. Marcus places his stop at 43.50, below the breakout zone, so a normal retest won't knock him out, but high enough that a real pattern failure exits him quickly. His risk is his entry of 45.50 minus 43.50, $2 per share. Step 3, position size. 1% of his account is $100. 100 divided by $2 of risk per share equals 50 shares. 50 shares at 45.50 is a position of $2,275. Notice the order here. Risk determined the position size, not confidence, not excitement. Step 4. Check the reward to risk. His target is $4.50 above entry. His risk is $2. That's a ratio of 2.25 to 1. At that ratio, Marcus only needs to win about 31% of his trades to break even. Everything above that is profit. Now watch what happens next, because this trips up almost every beginner. 3 days after the breakout, the stock sinks back to 44.60, right back near the neckline. Marcus's position is underwater. His group chat says the breakout failed, but Marcus knows the research. In Bulkowski's data, price returns to retest the breakout level in roughly half to 60% of all pattern trades. It's called a throwback, and it's normal. It's the market shaking out weak hands. His stop at 43.50 was placed below the retest zone for exactly this reason. He does nothing. The retest holds. Over the following 5 weeks, the stock climbs and touches $50. Marcus sells his 50 shares for a gain of $4.50 each, $225, minus a few dollars in costs. He risked 100 to make 225. One last dose of honesty. Remember that only around half of measured move targets actually get hit. So what does this trade look like across 20 attempts if only half reach the target and the rest stop out? 10 wins of 225 is $2,250. 10 losses of 100 is 1,000. Net result, plus 1,250. A profitable system even at a coin flip target rate. That's the entire point of pattern trading. It's not about being right. It's about structuring trades where being right pays more than being wrong costs. Now for the section that will save you more money than the patterns themselves. 3 mistakes in order of how expensive they are. Mistake number 1. Trading the pattern before it confirms. Beginners see 2/3 of a head and shoulders forming and short the stock immediately. Or they spot a double bottom and buy at the second low before price has broken the neckline. Here's the problem. Until the breakout happens, the pattern doesn't exist. An unconfirmed double bottom is just a stock in a downtrend that bounced twice. And remember the ascending triangle statistic. A pattern that looks bullish still breaks the wrong way 37% of the time. The breakout is not a formality. It is the signal. If Marcus had bought at $40.40 because the double bottom was forming, he'd have been buying with zero confirmation, no defined neckline break, and no statistical edge whatsoever. Wait for the close beyond the pattern boundary every single time. Mistake number 2. Panicking on the throwback. We saw this in Marcus's trade. Price breaks out, you enter, and within days it comes right back to your entry, or below it. It feels like failure. It's usually not. Retests of the breakout level happen in roughly half or more of pattern trades. The mistake isn't the retest. It's placing your stop so tight that a completely normal retest kicks you out at a loss right before the real move begins. The fix is structural. Place your stop below the level that would actually invalidate the pattern, then size your position so that stop distance only risks your fixed 1%. Wide stop, smaller position. Tight stop is not safer if it's in the wrong place. It just means losing more often. Mistake number 3. Treating the measured target like a promise. The measured move, pattern height projected from the breakout, is a guideline, not a contract. Across Bulkowski's data, only about half of downward measured moves and roughly 60% of upward ones ever hit the full target. If your entire trade plan requires the full target to be profitable, your plan fails half the time by design. Professionals handle this 2 ways. They only take trades where the reward to risk works, even at a partial target, or they take partial profits along the way. For example, selling half the position when the trade has gone in their favor by the same distance as the risk, and letting the rest run. Marcus's trade worked because his math was profitable even at a 50% target hit rate. Build that assumption into every pattern trade you take, and the statistics start working for you instead of against you. One bonus habit that ties all three together. Check the volume. Real breakouts tend to happen on rising volume, the crowd showing up to confirm the move. A breakout on weak, fading volume is the market whispering instead of shouting, and it fails far more often. It's not a perfect filter, but it's the cheapest one you'll ever get. If this breakdown made chart patterns finally click for you, do me a quick favor, hit the like button, because it genuinely tells the algorithm to show this to other traders who are still buying unconfirmed breakouts. And if you know someone in a trading group chat who panics every time a stock retests a breakout, send them this video. You might save them a stop out. And subscribe if you haven't yet, because this is episode 1 of a full technical analysis series, and everything builds on what you learned today. If you remember one thing from this video, make it this. Chart patterns don't predict the future, they define your risk. The pattern gives you a precise entry, a logical stop, and a measurable target, and that structure is worth more than the win rate ever will be. Marcus didn't profit because the pattern was magic. He profited because his losers were capped at $100 and his winners weren't. Next episode, we zoom in from patterns to the individual bars that build them. How to read candlestick charts like a professional. You'll learn what a single candle tells you about the fight between buyers and sellers, the handful of candle formations actually worth knowing, and why most of the 200 named candlestick patterns are noise. If today was the skeleton, next week is the muscle. I'll see you there. Quick reminder, this channel is for education only. Nothing here is financial advice, and you should always do your own research before risking real money.